This is a really quick video intended to supplement a blog post on the Harchive website, which you will find at www.harchive.org/dat-colzap, which stands for Data Collection Using Zapier. And what I'm going to attempt to demonstrate is how to collect data from 3 different social media channels using the Zapier service, write that data to a single spreadsheet that's kind of organized uniformly in order to cut down on the amount of time spent cleaning and sorting data that you collect from social media. It's a really simple example, and but you should be able to extend it by following this to make it a little bit more kind of complicated and useful. As I say in the blog post, there are various things that you need to be logged into first in order to run through this. You need to be logged into Zapier. You need to be logged into the social media channels concerned that you want to collect from. In this instance, we're collecting from Twitter, Instagram, and Tumblr, so I'm logged into each of those. And you also need to be logged into to Gmail so that you can access Google Docs. The first thing that we're going to do is create a destination spreadsheet where the data we're going to collect from the social media channels is housed. And in this simple example, we're collecting data from 3 elements of the social media APIs. So we're collecting the username, the text of the post, and the date that was posted. And we're also going to record here whether the data comes from Twitter, Tumblr, or Instagram, which we'll also do automatically. So you should go ahead and create a spreadsheet called Zapier Test in your Google Drive and give it those 4 column names. Make sure you're logged into the 3 social media channels, and then log into Zapier. And once in Zapier, we can make a new Zap. I'll show you how to do the Twitter one, and then obviously you can follow this for the other 2. The first thing that we need to do is select our trigger app, which in this case will be Twitter. We want to search for a particular mention of something, although there are various other elements available. I've already connected the Twitter account to Zapier, but if you haven't, you'll have to connect it here, but it's a fairly simple process, and it's quicker if you are actually logged in. So it's authorized my use of Twitter with Zapier, and in order to run through this example, we'll pick a really simple and obvious search term, music, which, you know, it's a fair assumption people are going to be talking about that right now. And we'll continue, and what Zapier will now do is test this. It will go off to Twitter and try and find a post that contains the word music, and it's found one. What you can see now is everything that's available to you via Twitter's API, and you can see that there's various things that you can get in here. You can get the ID string of the post, you can find out whether it's a retweet or not, and so on and so forth. Presumably you're going to be familiar with these elements of APIs. So we'll continue that. We're happy with that, and it will continue. So what we now need to do is tell Zapier to write that data to a sheet. Okay, so we're going to link it to Google Sheets. Again, if you haven't authorized it, you'll need to do that. We want to create a spreadsheet row because we've already got a spreadsheet, and we want to update it. This is the point here now where, this is the add in the account bit, so we'll add the account, which I've already done. Okay, so now we're at the point where we want to tell Zapier to go and look for Zapier Test. So this will now look within my Google spreadsheets, and there we are. There's Zapier Test, and we also need to tell it which worksheet that we want to be on, which is sheet 1, because that's the name of our sheet there. Okay, now what that now brings back is blank values that correspond to the 4 columns in the sheet. Zapier has just added that there to my sheet to verify that it can write to it. We can delete that. So I've got my 4 blank columns here, and I've got my 4 blank columns here. So what I want to do is populate this with elements of the Twitter API that correspond to the values. This will be a constant value because it's always going to come from Twitter. Username, we're going to search now for that, add username in. The date I know in Twitter is created at, so there's the date, and the text in Twitter is text, I believe. It's a little bit slow, just bear with me. There it is, text. Okay, so now we've added Twitter username created at and text. And continue that. All being well, it's now telling us that we're going to collect that data. So we'll create and continue. And now we want to finish that. We'll name that Twitter test. We'll turn it on. Okay, so that's now our Twitter collection set up. If we go to make another zap, what we're doing now with our second zap is that we're going to set up Tumblr. So we'll search for Tumblr. The difference between collecting data from Twitter and from Tumblr, and you'll find this from API to API, is that you can't in Tumblr search for a search term in the way that you can with Twitter. The closest equivalent, I guess, is tags, which I'm going to use, which is what I use with Archive, but for this instance, we'll use tagged. Okay, it's the same with Instagram, incidentally. You can't search for keywords, you can only search on tags. So we're going to collect data from Tumblr based on a tag. Once again, I've authorized this account already. If you haven't done that, you'll need to authorize it. But the tag that we're looking for, in the same way they are with Twitter, is music. So we'll get that set up. And as it did with Twitter, it will now go away and find a post on Tumblr that matches that search. And again, we can kind of view it and we can see the elements here in the Tumblr API. Okay, so we're happy with that, it works. And once again, we want to connect to Google Sheets. We want to create a spreadsheet row. And again, we are using the account that we've already set up. So you can see that it's basically just a repetitive process with each one. We're going to go Zapier test again, and we're going to go sheet 1. Okay, and again, it's brought back our 4 blank values. As we can see, we've already got the one from Twitter so far in there. Now, obviously, service here is going to be Tumblr. Username in Tumblr is blog name, the closest equivalent. Date, I think, is date in Tumblr, but let's soon find out. Yeah, date. And then the text I know in Tumblr is body. So in that particular post there isn't any text, but we'll grab it anyway, because you will find that you know, sometimes there isn't anything available in the API. So for example, if somebody hasn't attached a picture to a tweet or any tags to a Instagram post, the element of the API will come back with nothing. Okay, so now we've added that. I've highlighted everything. Create and continue. Test successful, finish. We'll name that Tumblr test and turn it on. And we can finally do the last one, which is Instagram. Again, we need to search on tags rather than keywords like in Twitter, but again, there are various other things you can use to search. Got my Instagram account, which I've already set up, and the tag again will be music. Zapier will go and test to see whether it can find any posts with the word music, which it can. And again, we're going to create a spreadsheet row in Google Sheets. Look for the Zapier test and sheet 1. And again, we've got our 4 cells that correspond to the spreadsheet. Instagram, I will spell that incorrectly. And again, we'll add these in. So created time is the date. Text, I think, is caption. Caption text, yeah. And then the username, I think, is user. Well, for the time being, we'll just put that one in. But you can check that out. So there we go. We've added those in. So what we should have now is a spreadsheet that will collect from those 3 services and write to the same database. Okay, so if we go back to test, we've got these here, and we've got the service automatically added in, the usernames, which I'll just hide away for a sec, and then you got the text in each one. Okay, where it comes through as undefined, obviously there was nothing in that Tumblr one, but you will get that if nothing is posted. And the big problem that we've got at this point is that the dates are all in different formats. So there's something on the blog post about how you can resolve that. You'll need a little bit of expertise with JavaScript in order to convert them, but you can essentially pre-process the date when you collect the data by adding in an action here using code by Zapier and a bit of JavaScript. On the, I've not got a proper one set there, but you would add in the created at or the date field there and the relevant JavaScript, which would convert these dates into the common format of your choice. Again, you'll need somebody who knows a bit more about JavaScript. Anyway, apologies for the somewhat slapdash nature of this. I'd hasten to call it a tutorial. Hopefully, if you read it if you watch it alongside the blog post, it'll make a bit more sense. Hope that's been useful to you.